Motorsports. Helio finished second in the race. This is his 82nd career podium finish.
Wow.
And 36th career second place finish. It is also his 120th career top 5 finish.
Really? Do you have to say that?
I have to say it all.
Okay. Yeah.
Helio, obviously it was a very interesting race with a lot of different factors to consider. What was most challenging for you?
Well, we started, it was a tough weekend for us. Definitely, we did everything we could. The conditions was very difficult, but I have to give a big thumbs up for the entire Verizon IndyCar series, the track, workers to push to make this race happening. I mean, if you were to say in the beginning of the morning, there was no way we would be racing. So for the amount of water was out there, and turned out to be great. Yes, unfortunately there was some yellows, but when we had the rain tires, which was fine up to that point. I was very glad that the guys made the right changes on the car, and I felt very comfortable. And then during the race, obviously we have some issues out there with the back marker, I believe. But things happen for a reason, and a great strategy from Hitachi boys, Roger and Jonathan, my engineer. So he was able to put us back on the spot. It was a good fight, fun fight with James Jake. We were pushing each other, and unfortunately there was a big accident, which I don't know what happened, but obviously we take the points, we take the opportunity, and move on to Long Beach.
James Jake's our third place finisher today. This is his second career podium finish, finished second in 2013 in Belle Isle Race 2. James, back in the series this year with a great team in Schmidt-Peterson Motorsports, how rewarding is it to be seeing strong results so quickly?
It's nice, nice to be back after a year out, second weekend and second podium. Thanks to the team, great strategy. It was very difficult out there. We've not had the season start we kind of wanted. We struggled a little bit pace-wise. I think, not entirely, all our fault, but everybody's working their butts off, and we look forward to the next rounds. But like Helio said, a great credit to the whole Verizon IndyCar series, for getting us out there today. I think all 24 drivers at noon were looking at the clouds and thinking, there's no way we're going to get this in, and it was great to see. And we got hosed yesterday in qualifying. We made it into the Fast 6, and then they cancelled the second session, so it was disappointing. But I knew that if it was going to be a tricky day, and if you just kept your nose clean and were on the right strategy, we could get a good result. Those conditions seem to favour us, they always have, and look forward to more times driving like that.
Questions from the audience? Questions, Brant?
No idea. A lot. It wasn't our schedule to pit, but I think about 4 or 5 times.
And contact. So, how did you finish second?
Well, I guess they did their math. Roger's very good in math, if you know that, and he was able to put it together with Jonathan, and I guess understand that what might happen. I don't know about there was a time race laps and things like that, and I guess they figured out and he put us back on the game.
Chris?
James, we've heard a lot about how Honda hasn't necessarily had better results, and here they are 1-3. Good showing from the team. How did y'all get to able to beat first and third? Like, what kind of strategy did y'all start out with?
Actually, towards the end of the race, we were on the same strategy as Helio over here. I think if the race had gone on another 5 laps, the 5 car wouldn't have made it. I think they were barely on fumes, and us two were the guys that could run a bit longer. But we actually had a good start to the race. Obviously, had to start in 22nd because of the qualifying yesterday. Worked our way up to 15th. Then actually spun on the last corner on the restart, but managed to save it and get back around. But that actually helped us, because we then pitted, because the guys in front realised that they had to stop one last time before the end of the race, and we didn't. So I think there was 4 or 5 cars, us two, maybe Tony and Simone, and a few others that got straight up to the front and were able to run there from the end.
Tony?
James, how close was Oxford when he ran to the left?
He was pretty. I mean, he was close. It's so slippery out there. You know, that we were talking. That's the one place, especially just before the restart. It was like a river out there, and we were all on slicks and trying to get the power down. It was just a nightmare. It was very difficult. But yeah, I spun there, and I think he went over to my right-hand side, and I believe he ended up in the wall. But the concrete is painted concrete is so slippery in those conditions.
Yes.
I heard you say out there sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Could you reiterate that for me?
Yeah, I mean, in those conditions, obviously, we're running up front, and all of a sudden, in a place that is very competitive field, when you go from 3rd to 21st, and in the normal conditions, it's extremely difficult to come back. But in the way it was playing around with so many yellows and so variables, amazing that we never gave up and we were able to go back in the game with the strategy and timing and yellows and things like that. Things that happens outside of our control, that if you go with the prediction, that wouldn't be the way he would be finishing. But and that's why I said sometimes it's better be lucky than good, and certainly I'll take it today.
Kurt.
A lot of people on social media are complaining about the race not being able to go more than 1 or 2 laps without a caution. What do you say to those people? You kind of addressed a little bit with the slipperiness in 13, but
yeah.
What do you say to people who watch this?
Well, unfortunately, it's whether we got to go. Imagine like an oval. Sometimes we have a little bit of a puddle, area that you can. The whole track is dry, but it keeps coming water out from the track, and you're like, well, the track is dry. Why don't you go out there and try? Because our cars, in those conditions, are very difficult. So now we are running here. The track was dry, but in 2 areas, it was river. It was water running in those areas. And for us, I mean, when we're passing around those areas, even on straightaway, you don't have to do anything, just not even turn. The car was about to take off. It was like ice. So for those people that don't understand, we're trying our best, obviously, to keep the car on the pavement. But our cars are not supposed to be in those conditions, and that's why I give the credit for the series for pushing. And we all want it. Don't get me wrong. We want a race, and we don't want a yellow because it takes the rhythm away. James had more push to pass than me. I'm sure he was like, man, I want to actually keep going because Hinchcliffe also didn't have enough fuel. So there were so many things that we don't want it. But sometimes it's necessary. And today, I have to say, we were credit for a lot of drivers to not torn more equipment, especially the limits that we have in those circumstances with the aero kit. I thought everybody did a great job.
Bruce.
James, if some people look at Dan Schmidt like a genius for what he's been able to put together with the 2 of you, he defers it all. He says the drivers make me look like a genius. What is it about Sam's ability to run a team? He's able to get so much out of a team that isn't considered one of the power teams.
Yeah, obviously we're not mass volume as kind of the organizations as Penske or Ganassi or even Andretti, but the group of guys that he's put together there is a great testament to Sam, and he's a great inspiration. He's there first thing in the morning and leaves late at night, and he loves it. And when you see him, in the position he is, he inspires everybody around him, and it's great to be part of that. And I think the credit just goes all to him because he's put these great group of guys together. When times are hard, everybody knits together, and when we have great days, you see like today, it just all works out. But he knows what he's doing, and hopefully, as we said earlier, this will be the start of many for the team.
Gary and Brett.
You talked up front, but you're a veteran driver. How tough are these conditions? How do they compare to other driving conditions? About as tough conditions as you can place in?
It's extremely hard when you have slick tires and going to the areas, critical areas that when you have water on the racetrack. And again, even I got caught in one of those restarts and up spinning out there because again, it was damp, and sometimes it's difficult to distinguish where it's wet because of the color of the asphalt. And it was hard. It was no question. It was a great testament for everyone to keep under control in those conditions. So, But again, for us to be able to be here, it's just a great testimony of never give up and pushing everybody to the limit.